Hello and welcome back for what I think is going to be a pretty short video. And, well, at least by my standards, I don't know. So, as you could see from the title, I'm going to share with you how I use my Oracle decks. So, this is the card I pulled last week. And it's been on my altar since I pulled this card because there's a lot of endings going on for me right now. I'm coming to the end of a 7-year cycle. If you've never heard of that, every 7 years our lives change. So our lives are theoretically, okay, this is not gospel or whatever, or set in stone. But if you were to look back at your life in 7-year chunks, 7-year increments, depending on how old you are too, right? Like, you may have only like 2 to look back at, or, okay, maybe not 2, but 3 or 4 or 5. So I wasn't aware, like I didn't pay attention that I was coming to the end of a 7-year cycle this year for this trip around the sun. And when I did, then everything that's been going on made sense. So I'm at a place right now in my life where things are coming to an end. And I'm embracing it because, it's not like, the only thing, you can't really stop change, right? You can embrace it or you could resist it, but you can't stop it. Things are going to change anyway, whether you go along for the ride or not. So you might as well go along for the ride, is how I feel about it. Everybody could do what they want. Okay. How do I use Oracle decks? I use Oracle decks, I think from what I've seen, other people talk about Oracle, like how other people talk about Oracle decks. I use mine a lot differently. Or if not a lot differently, the opposite of what other people do. I don't use an Oracle card as a clarifier. I don't find Oracle cards clarify anything. If anything, I find tarot cards clarify. But I like to draw an Oracle card once a week, and sometimes I end up working, like this one I'm going to be working with it for like, for at least a month. And I drew it last week. I draw an Oracle card and it gives me guidance as to a snapshot of what's going on right now. So I know I mentioned when I say how do I use my tarot cards, it's like, it's taking the temperature of the week. An Oracle card doesn't take it's not the temperature of just the mundane. For me, the right Oracle decks, which is why I use certain Oracle decks over others. Like I can't I can't have a collection of 30 Oracle decks that all have the same different pictures with all the same words on them, believe and breathe. And it's like, for me, that's all bullshit. It doesn't work for me at all, at all, at all. This is the kind of Oracle deck that works for me. So as an example, so I can't. I moved out dozens of Oracle decks because I was a little more open to Oracle decks than I was to new tarot decks, because, an Oracle deck, I can, a tarot deck, if it doesn't fit as tarot, if there's a glaring omission or if there's something just wrong with the tarot, then for me it's unreadable. Whereas an Oracle deck, if I like the pictures, I could do something with it. But I also discovered that that's not the case at all. So since refining my arsenal of decks that I use for especially my personal practice, but also as I'm gearing up to return to reading for the public, it's important for me to have tools that really work. The right tools for, for the right job, right? So, oh yeah, and yeah, I don't, because it's a hands video. Sorry about the chip nail polish, but I did a lot of work with my hands this weekend, and I had to choose between recording a video or manicure, and I chose recording a video. Okay. In terms of time constraints. So I use my Oracle decks in the following ways. I use them as taking the energetic, what is the big overarching energy surrounding me at this time. And it was this card, an ending, the moth and eucalyptus, that actually had me clue in, because I drew a lot of this kind of energy, ending energy, death energy, and stuff like that in the last little while. But I didn't clue in that I was at the end of a 7-year cycle, which I can discuss that in a future video if there's any interest about the 7-year cycles. Okay, so when I pull an oracle card, it will sit on my altar sometimes for months. An example would be when I choose my word of the year. I typically choose it from an oracle deck. Last few years has been from the same oracle deck, and that card will sit on my altar sometimes till June, July. This year not, because I had like space constraints. But in previous years, it's just out, and it's a reminder. It's an icon. It's this harkens back to my Roman Catholic upbringing, where we had saint icons and stuff like that. So these oracle cards, especially because most of my, well, probably all of them are nature-based, these have become my they have slid into the space where a saint card, a prayer card, would stand, but they're not to be conflated, and it's not even the same. It's not the same thing at all, right? It's just, to give an example, this becomes an icon. This now is something, it's a focal point for me. It's a reminder whenever I glance at my altar. It is a reminder that I'm in a state of endings right now. And all my tarot readings will potentially inform this state, will inform this current energy. So, oh my gosh, people, I'm sorry. So let me backtrack. How I use Oracle versus Tarot. Oracle is not the clarifier. Oracle presents the subject at hand, or presents the energy surrounding me or the querent at this time. So if I'm wanting to read on what is happening with me, because I'm going to focus on me, because then I'm going to do follow-up videos where I talk about how I read for others, for the general public. So I'm aware that this is what's going, not if, but this is what's going on with me right now at this time. And I am going to, on my readings will be with tarot to clarify the oracle card. So to make it less confusing, I hope, I do not use, for me, oracle cards cannot clarify a tarot reading. To me, it's anathema. I cannot, it's not a thing for me at all. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. The oracle cards are, say, this is the energy present at this time. And then the tarot deck will inform, well, what does that mean? So I'm going to do an example right now, where I'm going to put on either side of this card, because I think even the framing's a bit limited, but we'll see what we're doing. So on either side. So I'm going to put down, okay, so what is ending? So I'll put what is ending on the left-hand side and see what I get as a tarot deck. So what is ending? And when I say what is ending, my implication with what is ending is that I have no say. What is ending, whether or not I wanted to, okay? Because there's things we have control of in our lives, and there's things we do not. So what is ending that I have control over? And then, so that's what's ending that I have control over. No, let me rephrase that. This is just an example, so we don't care what this is. But this space right here is what is ending that I have no control over, because it's the closest to the oracle card. So if this, let's say, was, that's why I can't use cards that say breathe or whatever. Like if it was a medicine card and it was Raven or something like that, then it would be what is, and in relation to the oracle card, right? So let's just stick with this example. Oh my God, people, I'm sorry. I really didn't prepare for this video. I mean, it's always flying by the seat of my pants. I show up to class, I'm unprepared, and I got to give a lecture kind of thing, and it's kind of awkward. All right. So what is ending that I have no control over? And then on the other side, and by this ending, what is opening up? So that is one option of what I could ask. I could, and for me, it's very free form. There's no spreads. There's no, because for me, it's a conversation with my tarot deck. It's a conversation with the spirits around me. It's a conversation with the oracle card itself, the imagery. I'm having a conversation with the moth spirit. I'm having conversation with the eucalyptus spirit, or the spirit of the eucalyptus. And this could go on. This could be a 2-minute thing, which it usually isn't. Or it could be pondering this for quite some time. So I'm just going to flip a card. So here's an example. This is what's ending that is beyond my control. So obviously stability is ending, which, okay, well, you know, it's not like you want to be doing your own reading like on video for everybody to see, but yeah, this is actually quite accurate. So there's the ending of stability, the ending of something that was stable and reliable, and it opens up a whole world of going deeper and soul searching and all the beautiful things that the Queen of Cups entails. For me, because I'm INFJ, the Queen of Cups also ties into my personality type. I'm very introverted, introspective, and also my rising sign, which is Virgo, which is represented by the Hermit in tarot. Also, this ending is offering me an opportunity to go deeper within myself, to learn about myself, to find out, okay, now that this situation is ending, it allows me an opportunity to explore deeper, not further, not wider. This is deeper, going within. Also, with the fact that it's inward, this is coming to an end, an abrupt end, and then this is going inward. It's left, it's receptive. The Queen of Cups is facing left, which is receptive energy. So this is how I use oracle cards in readings. For me, they are not the clarifier. The tarot is the clarifier. The oracle card sets the stage of what is being read about. And this is even stronger when I'm going to talk about more when I read for the general public, that if you are going out there and you're wanting a reading from a tarot reader, a psychic, or whatever, be prepared. Don't show up there and just let them randomly tell you whatever they see in the cards. Work with them. This is your hard-earned money you're spending on this reading. If you're paying for it, if not, it's your time, it's the reader's time. Show up prepared with your main concern, like you're going to a medical appointment or you're going to some kind of customer service or like service industry thing. Go in there with what you need, ready with your question, your concern, so that your reading, it will be much more satisfying and focused, and you'll get so much more out of it than if you just show up and say, yeah, okay, psychic, wow me, tell me something that you shouldn't know about me. Because that, I don't waste my time on those kind of readings at all. If someone does not come prepared, I just say to them, well, you know what? That's okay. Come back when you're prepared, because I'm not wasting their time and money nor my time at all. So yeah, so that bled right into the subject I wasn't talking about today. Okay, let's regroup. What else do I use my tarot cards for? I use them for magical work. So, no, not tarot, oracle deck. I use my oracle cards for magical work. So the oracle cards I would typically use are ones that can be used in magical work. And they are plants, animals. I work a lot with the forces of nature. I work a lot with the elements, animal spirits, plant spirits, spirits of place. So those would be, it's not the oracle cards themselves, because I have an animistic view of the world. I'll have spirits in them. They do have a spirit. But a lot of times it could be a placeholder for, especially when working with plant spirits. And as I get older, I'm less and less, first of all, I don't buy anything that isn't, I don't use anything that isn't local, and I don't buy anything unless it's a resin to make my own incense blends. Because as I'm getting older, I can't get it out of my head. It's like, where did this herb come from? Like, what kind of a life did it live before it was chopped down and dried? People, I'm telling you, as you get older, as I'm getting older, I can't speak for everybody else, but these are the things I think about, which is why I don't, which is why I use spell ingredients for my magical work that are grown by me. You know what I found local, like foraged. If I forage stone or something like that, I also do return it if it wants to be returned. But that's a whole other conversation. So to recap this crazy melange of thoughts and blubbering of just babbling, I use my oracle cards as the focus of the reading, not the clarifier. The reading itself, all the tarot cards, that's the direction and clarifying and investigating this energy that is present, and whether it is for goal setting or for investigating, right? Goal setting, investigating, reevaluating. Sometimes I like to do a reading where after I've worked with an oracle card for quite some time, then I'll revisit and say, so how did I do? And that would be like evaluating how I did with that. Another way I use them is for magical work, as stand-ins for ingredients in a spell. I will use them to evoke energies or spirits that are represented in the imagery of the oracle deck. and as icons of the energies that I'm evoking in my magical spiritual work. So I hope that wasn't too messed up. I'm sorry if it was confusing. It's sometimes like the thoughts are quicker than the words come out, and it's a mingus, people. It's a mingus. I'm sorry. But I hope that this was helpful to anyone who wondered other ways to use their oracle cards. I'm not saying it's wrong to use oracle cards to clarify a reading, a tarot reading. It's just that from where I'm sitting, a tarot needs tarot does not need, oh my God, tarot does not need a banal oracle card clarifying it. But at the same time, I love oracle, so don't get me wrong. You can read just with tarot. You can read just with oracle cards. I think that someone who reads with oracle cards only, this is my opinion and my observation, they're tapping into, it's more of a psychic reading than it is, than potentially someone who can read tarot cards really well because they learned the meanings of them and they learned the mathematics of numerology and applying astrology, whatever method they're using. Whereas oracle cards, again, they represent one energy per card. In this case, there's two energies. There's the moth and the eucalyptus. And the rest is just downloaded from spirit. These spirits communicate with the reader, and the reader communicates with these spirits, and then that's the give and take. That's the conversation. All right, I'm going to stop here because I honestly don't know what I've said so far. And yeah, but I hope there was a fragment in here that was helpful to someone. And I'm going to do like I do in all my videos. I'm going to tell, like at the start, I tell you what I'm going to talk about, then I talk about it, then at the end, I tell you what I talked about. So here we are. Here's a recap. Oracle cards. For me, they are not clarifiers. They set the stage, and the reading, the tarot reading evolves from the oracle card and revolves around the energy presented by the oracle card. I don't see it the other way. I can't see it the other way where an oracle card would clarify a reading, a tarot reading, because tarot readings, by their very nature, in my experience, are all about clarifying what's going on with the querent. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you stayed this long, you're amazing. Do say bravo if you stayed this long, because I could just imagine what a babbling mess this is. But you know what? It comes from my heart to you. And wherever you are in the world, I am wishing you a beautiful day. Bye-bye.